In this English class, we are going to deal with a topic from Blossoms, and it is a poem entitled The Vagabond, written by Robert Louis Stevenson. Now, as we usually do, we are going to acquire some information about the poet Robert Louis Stevenson. Robert Louis Stevenson was born on November 3, 1850 in Edinburgh, Scotland. He was a Scottish essayist, poet and a novelist. Scottish, you understand that he was a man who belonged to the country named Scotland. His famous works are Treasure Island, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Kidnapped, and A Child's Garden of Verses. Now these are all his famous works. This great poet or novelist or essayist, as you may call him, he died on 3rd December 1894. Now I am going to give you a stanza-wise explanation of this entire poem. At first I am going to read the first stanza and then I am going to go into detailed explanation. Now stanza 1. Give to me the life I love, let the lave go by me. Give the jolly heaven above, and the byway nigh me. Bed in the bush with stars to see, bread I dip in the river. There's the life for a man like me, there's the life forever. Now here, the vagabond or the poet here is interested to live a life of limitless travel, and he wants to move from one place to another without any restrictions. So he is asking for the life that he loves, and let the rest of the world pass by as it is. He is not interested in any kind of material comfort or wealth. He wants the sky as a roof above his head. You see the line, give the jolly heaven above. Jolly means the wonderful or the place which is full of happiness. The jolly heaven or the sky as a roof above his head, and the road in front of him, that is byway. Byway means the road in front of him. In the lines, let the lave go by me. Lave is the stream. Let the stream pass by him, and let the byway or the road which is less travelled by people be by his side. So as I was saying, he wants the sky as a roof above his head and the road in front of him. He wants to lie down in the open field to see the stars in the sky. For his food, he wants simple bread which he can dip into the water of the stream and consume. See the lines, bread I dip in the river. So for his food, he wants that simple bread which he can dip into the water and then consume. He is adventurous, and never afraid to be alone. So here he wants a road beside him and the sky above his head, and enjoy life as he wants to. He doesn't want any kind of restrictions. He does not want to be bound by any kind of restrictions that life could impose on him. So this is the explanation of stanza 1. Now I am going to read stanza 2 and the explanation will be followed consecutively. Let the blow fall soon or late, let what will be o'er me give the face of earth around and the road before me. Wealth I seek not, hope nor love, nor a friend to know me. All I seek, the heaven above and the road below me. So you see, in the second stanza, the poet says that he is ready for the blow. Blow indicates death. Death will come to any man's life sooner or later. So he says that he is ready for the blow or death which will come sooner or later in a man's life. He has the road before him to travel around the whole world and the sky above his head. So he says that he is not afraid of death which is going to befall him at any time, because what he wants is to travel around the whole world and the sky above his head. He does not desire for any kind of wealth, hope, love, or a friend. He only wishes for the heaven above his head and the road under his feet. So he is rather, we can call him a strange person who doesn't want any monetary benefits, any kind of hope. He doesn't expect any love from anybody, or he doesn't look for a friend. What he only wishes is for the heaven above his head or the sky above his head and the road under his feet, which indicates that he wants to travel. He is ready to face any kind of challenge which life throws in front of him with a smiling face. So he says that he is ready for any kind of challenge. Life is full of hardships. Life is never a bed of roses. Life is also full of thorns. So according to the poet, he is ready to face any kind of hardship that comes in front of him with a smiling face. The attitude of the poet seems somewhat strange. Now, why is it strange? Because he wants to lead a lonely life and avoid human contact. Probably he is not looking for any friend, but if anyone comes in his way, he will gladly accept him. The poet never says, or rather I should say that in the poem we never look for a scope, that the poet will not accept anybody who will come in his way. Or rather he is saying that he himself will not look for any friend, but if anyone comes in his way, he will gladly accept him. But what he wants is to lead a lonely life, a life absolutely solitary. He wants to avoid any kind of human contact. His love is the kind of loneliness which many people might feel scary. So his attitude to love is that kind of loneliness. So what he wants is only the loneliness. He wants to remain alone. He loves loneliness, which many people may find scary. So what do we normal people do? We want to remain in contact with humans. We love to remain in the company of people. If we are alone, we feel frightened. But what the poet says here, that he is never frightened to remain alone, or rather he will never feel somewhat scary or somewhat different when he is alone. So he loves a life of loneliness. Now this is the explanation of the second stanza. Now let's begin the third stanza. First I am going to read and then I will give you the explanation. Or let autumn fall on me, where afield I linger, silencing the bird on tree, biting the blue finger. White as meal the frosty field, warm the fireside haven. Not to autumn will I yield, not to winter even. So you see, in the third stanza, the poet visualizes a hard life of the English winters. Now the winters in the English countries, it's quite different from the winter that we experience here. Our winters are quite mild, as we can call them, because we have a tropical type of climate. But winter in Europe, or specifically if we are going to mention England and Scotland, winters are extremely harsh over there. It is bitingly cold. It is extremely cold, which we cannot imagine over here. So the poet visualizes a hard life of the English winter, which is indicated by the falling of the leaves in autumn. So from the autumn season itself, the leaves start falling. The beginning of the old age. So here there is somewhat a symbolical meaning. Here the falling of the leaves in autumn indicates the beginning of old age. Now what happens in old age? We start getting old, skin becomes wrinkled, there is falling of teeth, there is less energy, eyesight becomes dim. So it is nearing towards death. Old age indicates nearing towards death or finishing of life. So in nature also, autumn, as we visualize it, autumn indicates old age. But the poet says that he does not mind to bear those hard conditions of weather. The poet, however, is extremely oblivious towards the hard conditions or harsh conditions of the autumnal weather. Now, how does he describe autumn over here? The field looks barren in autumn. Barren means there is no tree over there. No grass grows, there are no trees. The fields look absolutely brown. The birds do not chirp. Chirping means the sound of the birds, the twittering of the birds. They do not chirp on the trees. They remain silent on trees because of the severe cold. The biting cold is too severe to bear, that the blood almost freezes and the finger turns blue. Now the winters are so severe, the cold, it is too severe for a person to bear, that what happens? The blood in a person's body almost freezes and the fingers turn blue. I hope you have noticed that when there is less blood in an external organ, or if you watch your fingers in your palms or in your toes, they turn blue. That means there is less blood. Circulation of blood is less. So they turn blue. So in an English winter, the blood turns, the blood almost freezes and the finger turns blue. The fields are covered with snow. I hope we have, or rather you have watched in movies or even in picture books, the pictures of English winters, how there is snowfall on the trees, how the trees become white in color, how the houses, the sloping roofs, they are covered with snow. The entire land is covered with snow. It becomes white, absolutely white. If there are cars parked outside the houses, you will find snow accumulation over there. So the fields are covered with snow. A man can only find a warm place by the fireside. Now in English countries, you will always find that there is a fireplace in every house. Now of course in modern homes there are ACs over there, temperature regulating gadgets over there, but in olden days or in castles or cottages still you might find that there are firesides or fireplaces, fireplaces where a fire is lit and the entire family sits around it in order to take in the warmth. So according to the poet, a man can only find a warm place by the fireside. The fireside is only the place, or the fireplace is only the side, in other words, where a person may find warmth. But the poet also says that he does not require any warmth because he is only eager to move from place to place and live a free life. He wishes to be absolutely free from bondage. Here the poet says that he does not require any kind of warmth. He wants to move away from any kind of restrictions which nature might also impose on him. He wants to live an absolutely free life, absolutely free from any kind of bondage. Now we are going to go to the fourth stanza. I'm going to read the fourth stanza and then I'm going to give the explanation again. Let the blow fall soon or late. What will be over me? Give the face of earth around and the road before me. Wealth I ask not, hope nor love, nor a friend to know me. All I ask the heaven above and the road below me. Now you see, stanza 4, it is essentially a repetition of the second stanza, where we find the poet having a firm decision that it is only the life of a vagabond which he wants to live. He wants to be free from all material benefits of life. No love, no friendship, no hope or wealth can bind him. Line numbers 5 and 6 of this stanza seems to act like a refrain. I'm sorry, lines number 5 and 6. Yes, lines number 5 and 6 of the stanza here act like refrain. Refrain means repetition of the 5th and 6th line of the second stanza. If you look through the poem, you will find that The fifth and sixth line of the second stanza and the fifth and sixth line of the fourth stanza are the same. Now, why has the poet done so? He has repeatedly told us that, or he wants to emphasize his intense desire to lead the life of a wanderer. He wants to stress upon the fact that he wishes or desires to live the life of a wanderer who is free-spirited, who wants an isolated existence. Isolated means absolutely lonely or solitary existence in this huge world by moving from place to place. Okay, now this is the explanation of the entire poem. It has been completed. Now for your home assignment, I am going to give you 5 questions and a short exercise. Please take a notebook and a pen and write down the questions as I dictate. Question number 1. Mention some of the things that the poet is not interested in. I repeat, mention some of the things that the poet is not interested in. Question 2. How does the poet portray the weather in autumn? I repeat, how does the poet portray the weather in autumn? 3. What kind of life does the poet actually want? I repeat, what kind of life does the poet actually want? 4. Why does the poet repeat the second stanza? I repeat, why does the poet repeat the second stanza? Number 5. What message does the poet try to convey? I repeat, what message does the poet try to convey? Now these are the questions. Now short exercise. Fill in the blanks with the antonyms of the words in brackets. Fill in the blanks with the antonyms of the words in brackets. A. We shall feel very dash, in brackets, sad, if we go out for a movie. Now you have to give the antonym of sad. I repeat, we shall feel very dash, within brackets, sad, if we go out for a movie. B. I think he is an dash, within brackets, late riser. I think he is an dash, within brackets, late riser. Next, a rising sun looks dash. A rising sun looks dash, within brackets, dull. The last one, the vagabond wants the dash, within brackets, hell above him. I repeat, the vagabond wants the dash, within brackets, hell above him. Now I have given you 5 questions and a very short exercise of only 4 sentences for homework, which you are going to do during your holiday. Now try to do them, and if you find any difficulty, we are going to discuss it later when the school reopens.